Welcome to our OSHA Focal Point series. I'm Dr. John Mulroy, Director of the Pennsylvania OSHA Consultation Program, housed in the world-renowned Safety Sciences Department here at Indiana University of Pennsylvania. These videos were created with the essential, need-to-know OSHA compliance information to supplement your safety and health training. Addressing OSHA's most frequently cited standards, like lockout-tagout, fall protection, hazard communication, and machine guarding, these videos can help your organization anticipate, identify, evaluate, and control workplace safety and health hazards. We hope these critical OSHA focal points assist you in preventing future injuries and illnesses. If you still have questions or you need no-cost OSHA compliance assistance, we're here to help. All you need to do is reach out to us at IUP using the link below and request this no-cost OSHA compliance assistance service. It's that easy. Thank you for choosing the Focal Points video series. Be sure to hit the subscribe button to be the first to know when new safety and health content is added to this channel. Have a safe day, everyone. Today's topic is walking and working surfaces. The purpose of today's topic is to provide you with the essential need-to-know information about the hazards associated with walking and working surfaces. During this short presentation, we will briefly discuss the following topics, which include: what are slip, trip, and fall hazards? How can you best identify these hazards? And how can you control and prevent slips, trips, and falls in the workplace? Slip, trips, and falls make up the majority of general industry accidents and are 15% of all accidental deaths, second only to motor vehicle accidents. What are slip hazards? Slip hazards include grease, oil, water, ice and snow, liquid spills, or recently polished floors. Slip hazards also include improper footwear. How do you control slip hazards? You need to keep walking and working surfaces as clean and dry as possible. Make sure your footwear is as slip resistant as possible. Require drainage for any wet operations. Clean up or mark and report spills. Remove ice and snow frequently and regularly. Trip hazards include poor housekeeping, loose flooring, carpeting, or uneven surfaces, cords, hoses, or other protruding items. How do we control trip hazards? Aisles and passageways should be well lit, clean, and marked. Material storage and work-related scraps should not create trip hazards. Trip hazards such as loose flooring, carpeting, uneven surfaces, and protrusion hazards should be repaired or reported. Hoses and cables should be routed away from active work zones and walkways. Fall hazards include elevated surfaces such as the top of tanks, towers, machinery, platforms, runways, or other elevated surfaces, and lower level surfaces as well, including open pits, tanks, vats, or ditches. Fall hazards also include structural collapse, when we have structurally unsound surfaces or we exceed safe load limits. How do we control these fall hazards? When working on tanks or towers, machines, or other elevated surfaces, it's best to engineer out the need to go up in the first place. Guardrails can be used, whether temporary or permanent, and as a last resort, use a personal fall arrest system. You need to know the ABCs of a personal fall arrest system. The ABCs include anchorages, body harnesses, and connectors. Additional hazards include any open-sided platforms or runways. We need to use proper guardrail systems at all times. And platforms and runways next to dangerous operations require standard railings regardless of height. Another hazard you need to be concerned about in your workplace is structural collapse. We need to ensure that walking and working surfaces are structurally sound. Surfaces must be able to support the intended or potential load, including people, equipment, and stored materials. Load limits must be posted. What conditions can lead to a fall? Using ladders, scaffolds and scissor lifts, using stairways, working near floor or wall openings, or working on other elevated surfaces. The basic types of ladders include step ladders, extension ladders, and fixed ladders. Controlling fall hazards when using this type of equipment include using the proper ladder, ensuring that it's free from defects, and using the ladder properly. The right ladder includes the right type, the right length, and the proper rating for the job you intend to do. Never use the top 2 steps of a step ladder as a working surface. If the ladder you're using is not right for the job, Tell your supervisor.
An experienced commercial electrician was wiring a newly built commercial building. He'd been doing this kind of work for several years. While standing on a ladder that was too short for the job, he pulled long runs of a heavy gauge wire. He then attached the wiring above his head to the ceiling. The job involves awkward pulling movements while reaching overhead. After several days on the job, the stress on the electrician's arms, neck, back, and shoulders has become too much. As a result, the pain the electrician feels has affected his ability to do the work.
Ensure your ladder is free from defects. Regardless of the type of ladder you use, you need to inspect that ladder before each use. Do not use the ladder if it's bent, broken, or if there are missing parts, and tell your supervisor about the defective ladder. Proper use includes using the ladder in accordance with the manufacturer's requirements. Take the time to read the information that's posted on the rail of the ladder. Read and follow all informational stickers and warning labels. When ascending or descending a ladder, maintain 3 points of contact. Maintain proper positioning on the ladder. Never lean away from the ladder to carry out any task. Keep your weight centered between the side rails and descend and move the ladder as necessary. When using ladders to access another level, secure and extend the ladder at least 3 feet above the landing point. Angle the ladder so the horizontal distance of the bottom is 1/4 of the working length of the ladder. How to control fall hazards when using scaffolds. It's important to remember that scaffold-related incidents can also lead to injury or death. So scaffold safety includes making sure your equipment is free from any defects and is assembled and disassembled properly. When inspecting scaffolds, take the time to look over the scaffold before you use it. Report damage if you identify any defective components. Damaged components must be replaced before you use the scaffold. Scaffolds must be assembled and used according to the manufacturer's requirements. All components such as braces and pins must be present. If you don't have a copy of the instructions from the scaffold manufacturer, most can be downloaded from the internet. Each platform of a scaffold must be fully planked or decked between the front uprights and the guardrail supports. You should never be exposed to a fall hazard due to partial decking. When working on a scaffold, fall protection consists of either a guardrail system or a personal fall arrest system, and it must be provided on any scaffold 10 feet or higher when we have an unprotected edge. Safe access to scaffolds. Preventing falls begins with safe access. You are most vulnerable to a fall when climbing on or off of a scaffold. Your employer is required to provide safe scaffold access. Make sure you are properly trained to use the scaffold. Use scaffolds according to the manufacturer's requirements. Follow your company's specific scaffold safety policy. Report scaffold-related safety issues immediately to your employer. Never climb the cross bracing on a scaffold. Never climb the frame unless that frame was specifically designed to be a ladder. Never carry tools or materials while climbing. Never use a ladder or another device to increase your reach from a platform. Make sure the scaffold system, your tools, and the materials you're working with stay at least 20 feet away from power lines if the voltages are unknown. Make sure you maintain at least 3 feet from insulated secondary voltage lines. When using mobile scaffolds, make sure that the casters are all locked when occupied. The scaffold cannot be moved while you have workers on it. All casters must have retainer pins in place. Remember, with scaffolds, the height of the platform must never exceed 4 times the minimum base dimension. Outriggers may be necessary to increase the minimum base dimension in order to increase the working height. When using a scissors lift, most injuries and fatalities involving scissor lifts were the result of employers not addressing fall protection, stabilization, or positioning. When using a scissors lift, check to see that a guardrail system is in place before working on that scissors lift. Only stand on the work platform, never climb the guardrail, and keep work within easy reach to avoid leaning away from the scissors lift. Employers should ensure that scissor lifts are stable and will not tip over or collapse. Controlling fall hazards associated with stairs. Often stair-related hazards can be overlooked. Stair safety comes down to proper design, construction, and condition. Fixed industrial stairs must be maintained in good shape. As seen in this photograph, these stairs are uneven and unpredictable. So you want to report any stair-related hazards to your supervisor immediately. What else is wrong with this photograph? Here we have more than 4 risers, which means we should have handrails on both sides. When climbing or descending stairs, make sure you maintain at least 3 points of contact. Never run up or down the stairs. Never carry heavy objects, only light loads. And never jump the last few steps. Items should never be stored or placed on a stairwell. Stairs should be inspected on a regular basis, and remove items to ensure that no one gets hurt. Common fall hazards include floor and wall openings and open-sided platforms and runways. Controlling fall hazards associated with floor openings. As you can see in this photograph, unguarded openings like this must never exist in your workplace. They require a proper cover or a guardrail system at all times. Posting a guard to monitor an opening like this for temporary access is permitted, but is not a permanent solution. Controlling fall hazards associated with wall openings. As you can see in this photograph, wall openings from which there is a drop of more than 4 feet must be guarded. Wall openings require a proper guardrail system, such as this one, at all times. Standard railing consists of a top rail, mid-rail, and post. Height from the working surface to the top rail is 42 inches. The mid-rail height is 21 inches. You need to provide a standard toe board, which is at least 3.5 inches tall, anytime someone's working below. To get more help with walking and working surfaces, see OSHA.gov. Thank you.